What's going on, everybody? Jeremy with Detroit Tech. Today we're taking a look at the BT1 by Status Audio. These are Bluetooth headphones that sit on the ear and have a nice slim profile. That way, when you're on your commute, you don't look like you work on the deck of an aircraft carrier. Unless, of course, that's your jam. I don't know. Either way, Status Audio are proud of the tuning of these headphones and say you won't lose any detail. Well, they sent this pair over for us to check out. We definitely appreciate that. Thank you, guys. For full disclosure, they only asked for a review. They did not require that I say anything in particular. This review is strictly my opinion and mine alone. That being said, if you would like to purchase these headphones and support the channel, we'll put links in the description below. Let's start with the important things. Packaging. They come in a plain black box with a case nestled inside. It's no frills packaging, but kind of in the vein of something that's been designed well enough that they don't need to put it in a crazy box. The case has a hard outer shell. The headphones like twist and bend to fit inside. Accessories are minimal but purposeful. You get a 3.5mm cable in case you run out of battery or the device that you're using like doesn't have Bluetooth for some reason, and a charging cable that is, yes, it's USB-C. Thank you. I like how they did this. It's what you need and not like just a bunch of extra crap, and that I'm sure factors into the price. Depending on where you find them, the color, your choice, deals, whatever, you're looking around or under $100 for these. Build quality is pretty good too. They're made mostly of what feels like high quality plastics. The ear cups do feel like metal though. I can't be 100% sure. It's put together well. No like creaks or rattles that I can really find. The buttons, nice, satisfying, firm clicks. You won't really be like accidentally clicking them. The power button does have a little bit of play to it, but you still have to be like deliberate in actually switching it to like actually power on or power off the device. They do come in this color, umber, and a black version. I like the umber though. The ear cups are a little bit shiny and pick up fingerprints really easily, so just make sure you have a microfiber cloth handy. They fit me pretty well. I do have to extend them relatively far. I don't have a lot of extra room, but they should fit the vast majority of heads, since I'm pretty sure I'm in like the 90th percentile on my size of my head. The headband isn't what I would call plush, but the padding feels quality. It's firm, so it doesn't feel like it's just gonna disintegrate and become useless in a couple months. The ear cups are just about as comfortable as they can be for being on-ear headphones. They're soft and cushy. They do get a little warm after, some use, but that's something I really expect with every pair of closed back headphones that I get, basically. They do squeeze a little bit as well, but they're not gonna be falling off anytime soon, so that's good. That being said, I still wouldn't really work out in these. I don't see a mention of sweat resistance or anything in the literature, and the ear cup material does not feel like it will stand up to some serious sweat, but hey, it's your money. As far as usability goes, they're good. The buttons are in a good position at the back of the right ear cup, so your thumb finds them pretty easily. It took me a minute to get used to the order they sit in. In my head, I'm used to, volume up, then play pause, then volume down. They are actually volume up, volume down, and then play pause, which really isn't a big deal. And once I actually remembered that they do it that way, I find I actually like it better. If you're cranking up the volume and go one or two far, it's just one button down, not like feel one, okay, here's the second button. So it just makes it easier to find. The play pause button doubles as the smart assistant trigger. The first time I used it, I did have to have my phone open, get a little pop-up asking which assistant I wanted to use, Google or Amazon's. But once I selected Google Assistant, I could have music playing, phone totally locked, hold down the button, Google Assistant pops right up. So very, very useful. Of course, to utilize the assistants, these have a mic. Google didn't have any issue picking me up. Call quality as well for this is fine. We found my voice to be maybe a touch muffled, but perfectly serviceable. I imitated a strong wind by like standing in front of a big fan. And while the wind noise did come through, it wasn't like overpowering. As far as sound goes, why should you even, consider buying them? Well, let's start with the available technology. These have Bluetooth 5.0 using the aptX codecs. I didn't go outside and actually test the full range. It's cold and wet today in Detroit, but I went completely across my house, had no less than 3 walls and a refrigerator between my phone and the headphones, and they didn't stutter at all, so that's a good start. And Status Audio says they've tuned these to highlight sub-bass frequencies from about 20 hertz to 100 hertz. I didn't measure these. We'll say they have pretty good low end. On songs like a Black Widow by Iggy Azalea, the very low end isn't quite as big as it could be, but you do get a good extension into the low end. And while headphones may technically reproduce 20 hertz, the frequency response charts, usually they just start dropping down quite a lot. But the low end was pretty impressive on what seemed to be pretty small drivers, although they are 40 millimeters. It was pretty tight, didn't really bloat like a lot of headphones in this price bracket do. Low mids were impressive as well. I always listen to Welcome Home by Coheed and Cambria to test how muddy headphones get. When the whole band comes in, it can just become a mess so fast. These held up actually really well. That song can be really challenging. I was able to stay right in the groove without wondering why I was only hearing like random like woofing stuff. The mids and high end are where there is a bit more discussion on how good these are, at least in my opinion. Sometimes the vocals start getting pushed back into the background. That happened a couple times, in particular with the Foo Fighters. I think that's because Status Audio pushed the high end and then the low end, so there's definitely kind of a bit of a V curve to the EQ. But when I get to, let's say, Diana Krall, vocals come through and were really, really quite intimate. Coheed vocals as well came through really, really well, but he tends to be in a higher register than Dave Grohl does. And in Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force, when the whole band was in, the melody guitar, which is sitting kind of right in that mid-range, does get pushed back a bit. It kind of lost the upfront status. With the boosted highs, I can see these getting a bit fatiguing after a while, but I will say this. While the high end is boosted, the sibilant sibilants are completely under control, actually really, really well. I have a hard time listening to the Foo Fighters on my DT990s sometimes because the S's can get pretty brutal. But on these, it's actually pretty comfortable. And the boosting actually helps bring out some of the detail in a lot of the songs as well. Now, they're not like detail monsters like the Hifiman 4XX are, but also not really a fair comparison. One thing I noticed about the boosted highs, it didn't serve every recording very well. Listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan play Pride and Joy, I lost like some of the emotion of the song. It got a little sterile for me. Now, that song was released in 1983, so 100% was like recorded all analog. And for me, you need some extra warmth when listening to something, that analog. The 6XX from Sennheiser actually come to mind there. Now, losing that warmth didn't fully kill it for me, but it did take me kind of out of the moment listening to that song. I was still grooving, just not grooving hard. It was a similar experience to Foo Fighters songs as well. You lose some of that analog warmth. Stereo imaging is acceptable, if not impeccable. You get an idea of where the instruments sit, but it's definitely not pinpoint. The soundstage is about what I'd expect from stereo headphones. It'll be pretty close and you just won't get a crazy wide open sounding mix. A couple of other things to note, these are definitely not active noise canceling. They just sit on the ear. But with the softness of the ear cups, they actually provide a pretty good seal, block out a lot of noise passively. And if you crank the volume, you won't really notice most of the noise around you. On my Pixel 4 XL, I had no issues with volume. There was plenty of headroom and I tried once to crank it up all the way and it was uncomfortable and probably unsafe for my ears. Also, with the Bluetooth 5.0 and aptX, I didn't notice any latency on audio while watching video, which is doubly great. Overall, I really like these. They're light, sit securely on your head, they fold and like twist into the case and then don't take up very much space in your baggage. The USB-C is great to see, especially at this price point. And the fast charging is great to have as well. And Status Audio says you can fully recharge these in 90 minutes with quick charge and you get about 30 hours of playback time, which is great. They sound good. They might not quite be in the same league as something like the Sony WH-1000X M3 headphones, but those are considered basically the summit of the active noise canceling headphones. And they cost like 3.5 times as much. So if you're in the market for new Bluetooth headphones, for commute or something, and don't really want to break the bank, these will be great for it. If you need something to drown out, a plane and crying babies while you're traveling, you might want to check out active noise canceling headphones. And if $300 to $400 is too much, you can always check out our video of some affordable active noise canceling headphones right here. And then, sure, they're not the warmest and maybe they don't lend themselves well to analog recording, but if you're listening to more, let's just say more modern music, modernly recorded music, and want to go wire-free, you will not be disappointed. Thanks for watching, everybody. If this review is helpful, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. If you only listen to Flax through a tube amp, honestly, I'm not even sure why you're watching this video. Either way, let us know in the comments below what your Bluetooth headphones of choice are, and we'll catch you in the next.